Welcome into the 49ers Report. I'm Chase Sr. Appreciate all of you for being here with me. Coming up here, a major 49ers report from NFL insider and 49ers insider Mike Silver, who reported today in the San Francisco Chronicle that a Brandon Aiyuk trade during the first round of the NFL draft is, quote, a real possibility. Now, why should we trust Mike Silver? Why should we put stock in this report? Well, Silver is a NorCal, Bay Area native. He went to Cal. He was with Sports Illustrated, a columnist with Yahoo Sports before he went to the NFL Network in 2013, where he earned multiple Emmy nominations for his feature contributions. He is very tapped in to a lot of NFL circles. He's known Kyle Shanahan since he was young, when his father, Mike Shanahan, was the head coach of the Denver Broncos. He covered John Lynch as a player when Lynch was on his way to a Hall of Fame playing career. He earlier this offseason predicted that the Niners could release Eric Armstead, and if they did, they'd target a player and invest at the edge rusher spot because they were a little bit too expensive at the defensive tackle position in Leonard Floyd. What did the Niners do? They let go of Eric Armstead, who is a franchise icon, a team captain, Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee, and they signed Leonard Floyd in NFL free agency. So what Mike Silver says as far as Niners buzz, Niners reporting, Niners rumors go, certainly has some weight. There's a track record of breaking stories. There's a track record of having foresight, getting ahead of things. And there's a track record of him having inside sources within the Niners building. And you think back to what general manager John Lynch said in his pre-draft press conference on Monday when he was asked, do you anticipate a Brandon Aiyuk trade on draft night? Lynch responded by saying, I don't anticipate that. He didn't definitively say, no, we are not trading Brandon Aiyuk. All he said was, we want Brandon Aiyuk to be a 49er for the rest of his career. We love him. We've had great conversations with him in his camp. Our plan, our wish, is that we can get a deal done. But what did he say about Nick Bosa all throughout last offseason? He laughed off trade speculation. He said there's no way that we're trading Nick Bosa. He did not definitively say we are not trading Brandon Aiyuk. You think back a few years ago at this point with DeForest Buckner. He said a lot of the same things. We love DeForest Buckner as a player. We love Brandon Aiyuk as a player. We want DeForest Buckner to be a Niner for the rest of his career, for a long time. We want Brandon Aiyuk to be a Niner for a long time, for the rest of his career. What happened with DeForest Buckner? They traded him away, and it's ended up being a costly move for San Francisco because they traded DeForest Buckner away. They tried to basically draft his replacement in Javon Kinlaw, and Javon Kinlaw was a bust. You have to be careful about trading away Brandon Aiyuk here. He is a special player, still emerging, still scratching the surface of what he can be. And I think he's already an elite player who can continue to be an elite player. And a player you just saw in 2023 have a great connection working with your young quarterback in Brock Purdy. You want to take that number one wideout away from Purdy just because of money? Now, while the 49ers have a track record of taking care of their own players, literally in 4 consecutive off seasons, as I've said, as we've talked about, George Kittle, 2020. Fred Warner, 2021. Deebo Samuel, 2022. Nick Bosa, 2023. You can't keep everybody. Your hit rate at some point is not going to be 100%. Look at what a team like the Kansas City Chiefs does. Kansas City, well-run organization. Brent Veach, Andy Reid just got contract extensions. They already have 3 Super Bowls. They've won back-to-back rings. They'll invest for sure in some players. But with a player like L'Jarius Sneed, homegrown player, they developed him, invested time into him. They traded him away for a 3rd-round pick. Now, here's what Mike Silver had to say in that piece in the San Francisco Chronicle. During the first week of April, the 49ers, through a back-channel confidant, I love how he phrased that, reached out to at least one general manager to gauge his interest in trading for Aiyuk. The general manager in question chose not to engage, partly because this is considered a receiver-rich draft. Let me say this. As the NFL becomes a more pass-happy league, as wide receivers start to make more money with the wide receiver market exploding and running backs getting devalued, a lot of kids coming up, high school, college, they're not playing running back. They're playing wide receiver, which has caused there to be an influx of very talented wideouts over the last couple of drafts and an influx of wide receivers who have had immediate impacts on their team. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Terry McLaurin, A.J. Brown. The 49ers made it to a Super Bowl with Deebo Samuel as a rookie. Jordan Addison this past year for Minnesota was really good. We saw flashes from Garrett Wilson right from the jump. Look at what Puka Nacua did as a rookie. So some of these teams are electing not to pay their homegrown superstar players and trade them away and then reset that clock financially and on the roster with some draftees. Another Chiefs example, they traded away Tyreek Hill. So the 2024 NFL draft class is loaded at the wide receiver position, which is why a Brandon Aiyuk trade could happen night one of the draft on Thursday, because if there's a time to move Aiyuk, it's draft night. Why? So that you can find his replacement. Now, more from Silver here. There is a sense among other high-ranking personnel executives around the league that Aiyuk, as one such executive put it, quote, is available for the right price. And to this point, the 49ers have asked for a 2024 first-round pick. They want too much, said that executive, whose team is in the market for a wide receiver. Another executive said the 49ers could settle for a second-round pick. Now, if you trade Aiyuk away for a second-round pick, that is a massive swing and a miss. That's a massive loss. You're trading away a player because you don't want to pay him, and then you're not getting back equal compensation for a player who you drafted in the first round, who's developed into an all-pro. And I get it. He's due for a payday. But the asking price for me starts and ends with a first-round selection. Now, Silver inside that article also said that a draft night trade is, quote, a real possibility. Very interesting as we approach the draft on Thursday night. Also within that piece, Silver saying, would the 49ers preemptively trade Deebo Samuel or George Kittle this week? Don't expect it to happen. Samuel, who signed a 3-year, $71.5 million extension before 2022, has been assured by his bosses that he will not be dealt during or after the draft, according to a source familiar with the conversations. Now, Deebo Samuel trade this offseason never really made any sense. If the Niners traded him away pre-June 1, $21.7 million dead cap hit. Only $6.9 million in cap savings. If the Niners trade him away pre-June 1 in 2025, next offseason, $15 million in dead money, $9.1 million in cap savings. Deebo Samuel trade post-June 1. This offseason, $6.6 million in dead money, $22 million in cap savings this offseason. But next offseason, it could still happen. If you sign Brock Purdy, you sign Brandon Aiyuk, you want to keep Charvarius Ward, Deommodore Lenoir, Talanoa Hufanga, a post-June 1 dead cap charge of $6.6 million in 2025 for Deebo, and then you would save $17.5 million. So this offseason, again, not the time to trade Deebo. It could happen next offseason. If he gets hurt again, his value diminished. He will have no real value. So things are certainly going to be fascinating as we approach the NFL draft. And I get it, man. People are tired of talking about this story all throughout this offseason. I totally understand where people are coming from. Rumor here, rumor there, speculation here. At the same time, if Aiyuk is traded, this is a massive deal for the Niners. And it's a huge risk to take. And they'll have to draft his replacement in a wide receiver deep class, which is a massive story going into this offseason, especially with your young quarterback in Brock Purdy. And we're talking about an all-pro player here. And it's important for the job that I have to cover this story whenever there is a big development out there, which is exactly what I've tried to do all throughout this offseason. So continue to come around, hang out here on the 49ers Report. Going to continue to keep you in the know right here on the show. If a trade happens, we'll talk about it draft night. If it doesn't, we'll celebrate Aiyuk hanging around because, as I've been saying for a long time, I've been saying first in 2021, 2022, one of the most underrated wide receivers in the game. Going into 2022, I said he's better than CD Lamb. One of my predictions this past year was that he led the Niners in receiving, and he'd become the Niners' number one wideout. It happened. Second team All-Pro. He's no joke. Great route runner, great complete wide receiver. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel live every day, every round, every pick of the NFL draft. Thanks for watching. Hope you all enjoy your Tuesday nights. If you're watching on Wednesday, hope you're having a great Wednesday.